We're starting to put a bit of a run together, and it is refreshing. It is really, really refreshing to see the Derby win on Sunday. I was there for that. I thought that was absolutely fantastic overall performance against United. And then it was like, can we follow that up with a Champions League win? You know, a competition that we were so poor in last season. We really were. We did not take to the league phase of the Champions League last year well at all. So many slip-ups, so many underwhelming performances, and so many points dropped in situations where you just wouldn't expect Pep Guardiola's Man City to do so. And Napoli coming to the stadium tonight under Conte, De Bruyne's there, Højlund's there, McTominay's there. You're thinking, oh, this has a banana skin written all over it, doesn't it? It just has chaos and, it just has problems, man. It was just going to bring problems. And then what we ultimately got, the 2-0 win, was absolutely needed and perfect. I was delighted with that performance. I really was. And it matters so much more than just beating Napoli and getting 3 points in the league phase of the Champions League. Obviously, both of those are great things. But putting a bit of a run together right now and building some confidence, I think you can visibly see the momentum starting to grow on the pitch. You can start to see players believing again and showing that hunger again and that fight again, even when our backs are against the walls. You know, like if you'd said to me 2 weeks ago, we'll win the Manchester Derby 3-0, we'll beat Napoli 2-0, and now we're heading down to North London to play against Arsenal. And I said, it's a big ask. I'm not sure I can see that coming, you know. United have a good record in the Etihad, and City's record in the league phase, the Champions League, isn't amazing. But we're in this position, you know. 2 weeks ago, if you'd asked me about my predictions and feelings about going to Arsenal away or someone like Liverpool away, either of those two, even at home, I'd have said I'd probably make the opposition favourites. I'd probably make Arsenal this Sunday favourites. Whereas right now I don't. I think it's 50-50. I think this team has proven over the last 2 games, and I know 2 games isn't a massive sample size, but what we've seen is massive improvement in performance and in mentality. I think mentality is the big thing that you have to focus on here, because we all know that this current City squad has the ability to beat anyone. It does. Our best starting 11, which is maybe what we saw tonight and on Sunday, an unchanged team, obviously, could be the best starting 11 we have, but the mentality is starting to come back in. You know, we always knew the ability was there, like I say, but the mentality is starting to come back in. I think there's a few factors contribute to that, and we want to talk about a few of the players. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave your thoughts down below. If you're watching, hello, it's good to see you again. But look, let's talk about it, man. I think between the 2 games this week, one of the big factors for me, and I know a lot of people are giving the guy praise, is Donnarumma, man. I think he's absolutely class. I really do. And some of you might sit there and say, well, he hasn't had to make a world-class save, and he's not, under much pressure so far. There'll be bigger tests. Of course there'll be bigger tests, man. But everyone looks at Donnarumma and goes, he's a presence. He's a genuine presence in our goal. And I think our defence, our midfield, and everyone and the fans get a boost from seeing that guy between the sticks. And that's not to throw a dig at Ederson, but he just didn't have that aura, did he? He didn't have that presence that Donnarumma does. Sure, Ederson does things better or did things better than Donnarumma probably will. But whatever Donnarumma has about him, the shot-stopping ability, the physique, everything, he just carries this unspeakable aura that really oozes through the team. You know, you can feel it. You can. I was there on Sunday at the Derby. You could see it in person. The guy's a monster. You know, you don't really fancy yourself, I'd say, if you're going through one-on-one with him, because he's that intimidating. Another player I want to talk about is Cousinov, man. I really, really like Cousinov. Do you know that? The art of defending sometimes can be difficult to watch. It's not going to be pretty a lot of the time. But there's some defenders come along every now and again that you just enjoy watching. You just enjoy watching, and you want to know what he's going to do in each scenario. And he's still raw. He's still really raw. Because he's so young, but between his pace, his improving decision-making all the time, his growing role in the Manchester City team, he looks comfortable now playing in that kind of right-back role, and I'm sure plenty of you are going to see him moving to centre-half as well soon, which we probably will at some point. But I enjoy watching him, and I think he's really added something, you know. I don't think teams are now as confident coming up against City doing the old counter-attack tactic that has punished us so often over the last 12, 18 months, but over a lot of the years, but really the last 12, 18 months, we've been punished by fast-paced counter-attacks. You're not getting that as much. Teams aren't getting the same joy out of that because Vardiol's wrap it over on one side and your Kuznov wrap it over on this side. So I'm enjoying watching him. I right now I look at him and go, wow, you could be one of the first names on the team sheet for Man City for years to come if you keep going the way you're going. So big up Abdulkadir Kuznov, man. He's absolutely killing it, and he's going to have a big task this weekend, isn't he? Up against probably Eze, I would say, down in Arsenal away. So that'll be an interesting test. The next player I want to talk about is Rodri. I think tonight's game, the Napoli game, was the best performance we've seen from Rodri since before his injury. Now, naturally, any player who has a long-term injury is going to take quite a while to get back and look their best. I don't think he's even near his best yet. I think Rodri at his best, you see it, you feel it, you know what I mean? But tonight he looked like he was operating well again. He was playing those passes he used to play. He looks like he's trusting his body a bit more again, and he had that presence again in midfield. And I think Pep made the right call, a very astute call to pull him off after about an hour, because perfect. We trusted ourselves to go and see the game out, first of all, which was great. And then second of all, he played in the derby, played 60 minutes tonight. That's perfect preparation for me for Sunday, because he's going to probably play 90 minutes on Sunday, unless there's a world where we go 2 or 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. Rodri's going to be needed for 90 minutes on Sunday, so very well handled by the manager, to be fair. And it was great. It's great to see him improving week on week and starting to look more and more like himself. And as long as we can keep ourselves in, within arm's length of the top of the table by the time we get to February, March, April, by then you'd like to think Rodri will be back, so I think the goal should be stay in the Champions League, get back, stay within arm's length of the top of the league, and see where it takes us. Foden, both games this week, once again, absolutely class. He looks like he's got a point to prove. I think both him and Haaland, I can join them together for this part, took last season's criticism on both of them and the team, both of them individually and the team personally, because they look like they've got a fire in their belly. Foden looks like he has that fire in his belly. Haaland always has that fire in his belly, but he looks really like it. You know what I mean? The goals in the weekend, the goal tonight, they both look really up for it. And Foden's starting to control games creatively, which is what we saw when the year he won the Player of the Year. And it's what we expect of Phil Foden, isn't it? We expect Phil Foden to dominate games and to leave his imprint on the games. It was kind of symbolic maybe tonight, that Kevin De Bruyne was on the opposite side of the pitch, and Foden was the best creator on the pitch for me. Between him and Doku, I've never been his biggest fan, as many of you will know, but credit to him, and the last 2 games he's stepped up. He's really stepped up. Like, that goal tonight is something that I've wanted from him for a long, long time. That's what he should be doing. We know you have pace. We know you have strength. We know you have skill and whatnot, but put in the back of the net, you know what I'm saying? Or else create a goal. More G&A. So he made a statement. I think he stepped up a bit. Now it's just consistency. Bring that to North London on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? What a statement it would be to go down there this Sunday and beat them. Pressure's on them, man. Pressure's on them. Arsenal have to go and win this league, in my opinion. They have to. You can't finish second, 3 years in a row, continue to spend all that money, and then not go and finally do it. You can't. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. It's failure. So go and beat us. Should be one of their priorities this season, beat us. But for us, I think we're going into it in a good position. I'll probably do a proper preview on that game now in a couple of days, because I'm back from my holidays now, and I'm excited. I've got that fire in my own belly for the season ahead. So look, just wanted to share my thoughts quickly on tonight. Proper happy, great start to the league, or the Champions League phase, and we move on to the big one on Sunday. In a bit.